Good evening. Thank you for calling. You ain't calling no one because their calling system fucking isn't going to work.
Yeah, no, it's not working.
All right, so hi, I am Ray Ray.
And I'm Chrissy D.
Here's the deal. I am fed up. I refuse to do any more interviews until we can afford one of them, hydro boxes or whatever, because it does not work on here, and I don't even know if that box is going to work on here. I mean, no disrespect to Spreaker. I love them.
Me too.
But you can't do... If anybody knows how to the right way to freaking do call-ins and knows a way that actually works without having freaking 500 million computers, let me know. Because I'd love to find out, because I've followed every fucking YouTube video there is that I can find. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. I've, even did how to fix things with Skype. It worked for a day, and then it went back again. I am convinced that it is Spreaker. I hate to say it. I love Spreaker to death, but I'm convinced when it comes to these call-ins, their system is not working with anything.
That's probably right. I think that's definitely right,
Let me clarify this. And we're going to talk about more than just this on tonight's show. But let me clarify. If you are making a phone call with somebody, okay, and the level on the mixer is going all the way up, okay?
Yep.
It's not the mixer.
Exactly. Our mixer works just fine.
And it's evidently given power from the secondary sound card that we were told to get.
Yes, it is.
And it's not that you can't be heard, but you're sounding like a mouse. And then it's even a little higher than, what we normally would, get from Skype. But this is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, we sit there and we played with the levels. We played with the wires. We've fixed and changed so many different things, not even funny. We've even bought different wires.
We've even bought different voice over IP services. We went away from Skype and tried two others. The same results. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. What happens is it works for a minute and then it stops. The levels go up and the levels go down. The reason it pisses me off is because we had people from record label and all their interviews came out like shit because their service does not work. And
they sound like a bunch, and the people at the record label will send over for us to do interviews, or not send over, would have us call, or they'd call us, or however we did it, They would sound like mice, and nobody can understand what they were saying, or it sounded like we were talking to Casper the Friendly Ghost.
And it worked in every other system we tried. Every other system we tried, it worked perfectly. We don't just go on here to, out of the blue and be like, okay, all right, we're going to put on a show now. We practice.
Yes, we do.
And it did not fucking work on the system. I don't know what it is. I don't know it's because if it's friggin' through Flash. If somebody could tell me how I, download through Icecast or... an external broadcast thing and get something to work, I'd greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I got to go out and buy one of them hydro boxes, and they're not cheap at all.
And they're not guaranteed that it's going to work, I mean, nothing against the hydro boxes. It's just that, every system's different, so we don't know if it'll work for our calling or what it will happen,
We're just going to have to go through some kind of external broadcasting and come into Spreaker. Because we love Spreaker, and we're staying on Spreaker, and, we're going to be, a part of, a new, radio network through, the main, way that I believe is through Spreaker. But the problem is, when it comes to the call-ins to do interviews, it does not work. It's really pointless to try to hear mouses.
Exactly. I mean, nobody wants to listen to it. Who's going to want to listen to our show if everybody sounds like a mouse? I mean, it's just, that's how it is.
Well, originally we did the show to, as a joke. And then we added the other part to it, which it isn't bad. And, Blog Talk worked, but lately Blog Talk sucked as well. I mean, they don't want to, they only allow you to put it in certain time slots. And then you schedule for the time slot. Then it doesn't want to connect. I mean, it's just fucking a hassle. If anybody knows another way that we can get on the Spreaker through an external, broadcast thing like a Icecast or a Samcast or whatever, tell me how to do it, and I'd greatly appreciate it because I'm fed up. I'm tired. I mean, I've spent hundreds of dollars in the last fucking, month?
Yeah.
Trying to get something to work.
Yeah, in about the last month. Month or 2 months at least. I mean, because we've been going back and forth with this stuff.
And even wires ain't cheap at $20 fucking a pop for, good wires.
And we've had to get, not just one set. We've had to get 2 or 3 sets.
So, I mean, I'm not complaining because I love, Spreaker. I love when we do our show here. What I am saying is if this won't work, then somebody needs to say, hey, it will not work on Spreaker. You're wasting your fucking time.
Or at least, tell us a way to get it to work so we can have it work, I mean, that's what we want. We want it to be able to work so people can hear when we have our call-ins,
So here I am. Well, I just feel like a dumbass because I keep on apologizing to people. It's like, okay, yeah, well, I wanted to do this, and yeah, we were having a great show and everything, and we wanted to get, away from the static, a Blog Talk. Which, at this point, if Blog Talk would work again, I'd pay the fucking money, dude, just to do the fucking interviews on Blog Talk again.
Exactly. I mean, that's just what we'd have to do, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
But I'm not going to pay Blog Talk and then pay Skype, too. That's ridiculous.
No, that's definitely ridiculous.
That's fucking out of the mind, to pay fucking $100 a month to fucking use 2 fucking services. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. That's just too ridiculous.
So, I mean, for the future, until we can, save up to get a box or another audio interface, I guess I need 2 audio interfaces, which makes no sense. You got a mixer, which is an audio, interface, because it's USB. Now I got to get another one. It's don't made no damn sense.
No, it doesn't.
But the whole thing is, lies. That's what, it's like people are just fucking trying to put the little people down and not allowing the little people to do what they need to do. And I don't know why that is, but it is. I went for a bank account, and I'm not going to say where I went for a bank account today. But, I got scammed by one of these online, payday loan things. Thought I was going to get money through. They didn't send nothing through, and then it goes on my credit. It goes against my freaking things. It's just like people that, get scammed through Western Unions. You throw it in the bank, and then once you put it in the bank, they take the money out, and then you're screwed.
Exactly.
But here's the deal. This is what pisses me off. I don't like people who deliberately fucking lie to me. If you're going to, extend the truth, for your sake, so you can fucking
keep your job or whatever the reason may be.
It's fucked up. It's really fucked up that, the little people have to suffer and the everyday folks have to suffer because these people just want to bullshit.
Yep, exactly. I mean, why should you bullshit? If you're going to tell the truth, tell the damn truth. Stop lying.
Yeah, exactly. This lady says, okay, yeah, you can have a checking account. It's going to have some restrictions, but you can have a check. I'm fine with that. She tells me deliberately, well, you're going to have to make sure that in order to have this, you're going to have direct deposit. I'm fine with that.
No problem.
She said, you're going to have to make 14 debits. Okay? I'm fine with that. Okay? And then I get through the paperwork. I freaking, pay the money. I sign the papers. And then she gives me a fucking ATM card.
No bank card. Not a bank card like It doesn't have like MasterCard, Visa, any of that on it. It's just a plain old bank card. It looks like a toy bank card that you give a little kid.
Yeah, exactly. So I basically got a fucking savings account. How you going to tell me it's a fucking checking account if you can't do shit with it?
Exactly. That's almost like a scam. That's like a scam company or something.
Yeah, exactly. If fucking you can do online bill. Who the fuck wants to do online bill pay? I want to use my debit card to pay my fucking bills.
Exactly. That's because that's how we've always done it. I mean, I can't believe people actually do that shit to people. But it's just ridiculous.
I can't believe people are going to fucking deliberately lie. Wait till you fucking already made the fucking account and then fucking say something.
Yep. That's what they did, too. They did it to both of us, and you know what? I got news for them. I ain't keeping that account, so.
Well, I'm just going to go to supervisor tomorrow. I'm going to be like, hey, this is what I was told. This is what's going to happen. If you want me as a customer, because I bring in, X amount of dollars every, month.
That's right.
You need to fix this.
Exactly.
I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, we have to get to the point where, we don't tolerate it no more. It's just like when we were out in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And this is what I say on the boards all the time, and I don't give a shit who cares.
Go ahead, tell them.
Okay? I tell them, in order for the fucking town to really, expand, to, have ticket sales through the roof and everything, you have to believe in the team that's there.
That's right.
You cannot say, okay, well, it's okay if somebody else bashed your team. That's not cool. Especially in that town. That's not cool to walk around the town. It pisses me off because I can walk around the town and everybody will talk shit about the team. I don't care if the team has had 5, 6, 7 years of bad years in a row. It doesn't matter. You don't walk around and talk shit about the team.
Exactly. Not only that, but if you're going to root for a team, you need to root for them regardless of their winnings and their losings. They're your team. You're supposed to stand by them, and you're supposed to defend them and not let anybody talk shit about them.
Yeah, and how many places did we go to that people would fucking bash shit?
Oh, I know.
And everybody else would, be okay with it.
Exactly. Okay, well, I'm gonna use the Cowboys as an example. Now, if I went into Dallas, and let's say I said something about the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Now, I guarantee everybody would be like, oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't say that about our team. Oh, no, you didn't. I guarantee they'd all band together and stick up for him. Now, that's what this team needs to do.
Exactly. I don't care if the team is younger than the college team around that area. That makes no difference. I'll tell you one thing. Originally, most people don't know this, but I'm going to tell this story.
Go ahead.
Originally, the Yukon Huskies were a Division II team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They are now a Division I team. But the reason for it was because the New England Patriots, who everybody knows they're out in Massachusetts.
Right.
But they were having problems getting a new stadium.
Okay.
Connecticut basically offered them the keys to the state.
Right.
Offered them everything under the sun and said, well, hey, you come out here, we'll make sure, that you have packed crowds, which there would be no doubt. It would.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter if they lost 5 times in a row. It would not matter.
No.
People will talk about the Hartfield Whalers and say, well, yeah, well, they were started to lose, and that's what. No, that's not why they left.
No.
So anyway, we were promised, because it was pretty much a done deal. We were promised that, and if I keep popping, people are going to listen no more. But anyway, we were promised that, fuck it, that, we were going to get the Patriots, or New England. And that deal fell through. Because Massachusetts or Foxborough said, you know what, we're gonna offer you more. Whatever they're offering you, we're turning around. We're gonna offer you more. We're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you that. That's fine and dandy. But most people don't know, if that never happened, the Yukon Huskies would have never became a Division I team.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, as far as their football team, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. And they also have, they also have a fantastic basketball team. And I know for a fact that when they have football games, I believe that the stadium is packed when the Huskies have their football and their basketball.
However, even with UConn could turn around and be a bowl contender every year if they had the right people and the right coaches and everything. Okay? They really could, but even if if a team were to move to Connecticut, I don't care if they lost the first 5 years or whatever the case may be, that NFL team would automatically take precedent over the UConn Huskies. Why? Because up north, it's a thing of professional football. That's how it is. You talk shit about somebody's team, even if you're out in freaking Connecticut, and you talk shit to a Jets fan, you better hope that there's not other Jets fans there or you're getting your ass kicked.
Exactly.
Same thing with Giants, same thing with Patriots or with the Eagles.
Exactly.
You know, it's just a different kind of mentality. And there has to be that kind of mentality for a team to survive.
That's true. I mean, that's very much true.
And I'm not saying anything's going to move, but if you put, with everything, you know, that Corn's doing, if you put everything in the hands of the fan base and the fan base does not grow, eventually they're going to go somewhere that appreciates them.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? The way I look at it is, you know what? The Jags work their asses off and they try to have a good team. And I think Khan's done a good job since Khan's come in and, you know, taken over. And, you know, so I think that they're trying really hard. It's just going to take them some time to get the right players that we need to have a, you know, really, really good team. But I think we will make it, and I do believe in them.
And the whole thing was this guy was like, all right, turn around, and this guy's like, well, I've been a season ticket holder since day one, and I'm in the stands well, that's great. I'm glad you're in the stands every year. That's awesome. I don't have anything against that. However, when you say that when people are picking on them and you don't care, it doesn't bother you, well, then you've lost the passion that you once had. Even though you have tickets because it's a tradition. You don't have tickets because you enjoy it anymore. There's a difference.
Yeah, you have to love what you know, the team you're going out to watch. You have to love the team. I mean, you know, when you go in the stadium and you sit down in that stadium and you actually sit there and watch a game, it's fantastic, but there's no enthusiasm for by a lot of the people in the stands, you know? I think there should be more enthusiasm coming from the rest of the Jags fans. We've got to give that enthusiasm to the team so that way it goes from the stands and the enthusiasm falls onto the field, which pumps up the team to want to play and want to make them do good.
And
you know?
the whole town and the whole mentality has to change. It just has to.
Yeah.
At some point, it has to change because everybody's like, okay, well, winning is going to change everything. No, it's not. There's many teams that win every year, and their shit doesn't change that much.
Exactly. I mean, how do you live in Jacksonville and hardly have any Jacksonville Jaguar shirts and stuff? I mean, that's just ridiculous. The town should be flooded with shirts and hats, and you would think, but no.
I mean, even Walmart don't carry it. I mean, you'll see plenty of Gator shit, but Jag stuff,
Patriots
you
stuff,
see like one
else.
little fucking rack, and that's it.
Yep.
How the fuck do you have a national football team and only have one rack? How is that possible?
I don't understand that. I never did.
Okay, but moving on. You know, it's just the whole thing of why are the little people out there, you know, the mom and pops, the people that are trying to survive, the people that are trying to make a name for themselves, got so many fucking complications, be it, you know, the radio like ours. You know, it should be easy. The sound should be the first thing people should think of. Okay, these people are going to try to, you know, build something. And if these people are going to try to build something, well, then they're going to have guests on their show.
Obviously. I mean, I would think you'd automatically think that they're going to have guests, you know?
Why is it that no matter what field it is, that they just make it so hard that people cannot compete.
I don't know. I've never understood that.
It's like Walmart out there is trying to put all the grocery stores out of business. I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't know.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But it's true. You know, it's just like the big corporations are just doing whatever they can to stick it to the little people.
Exactly.
And don't give a flying fuck.
And you know what? It's funny because a lot of times you go into these big corporations of stores that are trying to take over the big little grocery stores, and half their stuff doesn't even look, sometimes it doesn't look like it's fresh, or it just doesn't look right, you know? Not always, just sometimes, you know? But I just never understood that. Sometimes you go into the little stores, and you'll find fresher stuff than you would in the big stores.
And the whole thing about it is I blame the internet.
Why is that?
Because in this day and age, everybody's on forums.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with the internet. Evidently, we do internet radio.
Obviously.
So it does have its perks. There's nothing wrong with social media outlets as far as a whole. The problem is you teach the generation through the propaganda and through the bullshit. Okay? That now, instead of, if you got a problem with something, you go to the manager. Now you go to their website and complain.
That's not going to get you anywhere.
These motherfuckers don't care.
They're not going to read half of the shit you write on there.
They're like, oh yeah, it's a riot on paper.
Oh boy, I'm scared. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what they're going to think too.
It was just like the whole debate. This is the funniest thing. People think when the Xbox One originally came out, okay, and they changed their policies. Because they changed their policies and people rioted online, that made them change their... No, it didn't. What made them change their mind is Sony didn't do the same thing, follow suit, and they went a different route. So they realized that the people are going to go with the undermining ones, and then they changed their policies. It had nothing to do with forums. It had nothing to do with hate mail. Had nothing to do with any of that, because frankly, they don't give a fuck.
Hate mail's nothing. I mean, it's just mail. You look at it and you go, yeah, okay, click, delete. I mean, come on. I mean, you know.
At the end of the day, it's still hate mail. I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter? In a way it does, but not really.
No, because I mean, it doesn't scare anybody.
They want this, though. This is what they want. This is what they want to, how they want to control.
Exactly. I mean,
and who or what it doesn't fucking matter. The point is, without taking your rights, they are taking your rights.
Exactly, they are, and they don't care. They don't give a shit.
And they're teaching the new generation and the young kids it's okay. It's okay if you have a problem now. Okay, just go on the internet and complain. That will make a big... No, it won't. It won't do jack shit.
Nope, it won't. It doesn't do anything. And these nowadays, if you ever look at the kids nowadays, they don't know how to socialize. I sat and had a conversation with somebody, and we had a conversation, and both of us have children. And the person said to me, it's funny. You see these kids, they'll be sitting in a room, and they'll be sitting right next to the person that they're talking to. Yet they'll be texting. I'm not even talking. They'll be texting. Because kids nowadays don't know how to socialize because of these social networks and social media and all that.
They don't know what to do anymore. If you strip the internet away.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee the bullying would stop and all the other bullshit would stop because kids don't know how to associate with each other anymore. That's where the bullying and that's where all the baloney comes from.
Well, I don't. You know what? Bullying's been around since I was young.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying more so now because kids don't know how to socialize anymore like they did when we were kids.
They're too damn sensitive. That's why. I mean, that's nothing against them.
No.
One show I said, about people being sensitive. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. What I mean by that is you're not taught the right way to fucking do shit. You're not taught, okay, well, if somebody makes fun of you online, because they're not used to it. These parents are not used to, unless they're young, these older parents are not used to the internet. They don't give a shit about the internet. You know, my aunt and uncle don't even have the internet and really could give a shit less.
Exactly. I mean, I know a lot of people that really don't know anything about the internet.
And don't care about computers.
Nope.
I mean, so when somebody says, okay, well, you know, they picked on me online, they're like, okay, so what? What's that mean?
Exactly.
Now, it is a big deal to a kid. I'm going to say this. I'm going to retract what I said in a way. It is a big deal to a kid to be on YouTube and be made fun of. It is a big deal for them to be on Facebook or whatever there's like a million social sites out there.
Exactly.
Because the kids will rub it in their faces. They will send them, you know, texts on their phone or a picture mail or something to make them feel like shit. But because the adults aren't educated in that field and they don't know how to talk to the kids, why is there not? That's the thing. Why is there nothing on any of the fucking commercials that you see that says, hey, tell these kids that everything they read and they see on the internet isn't necessarily true?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, there's a commercial on TV about bullying, but it just also says to speak up for bullying. None of these kids speak up when it comes to bullying.
I mean, you'll see a million things on, stay off the drugs, stay off the alcohol. But what if what's ruining their mind is actually the fucking internet? Is actually all these social sites that they're going to that they don't know how to handle because they don't see how easy it is to say, okay, well, you just made me a star. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Because if people did that, and people said, yeah, you made me a star, and, you know, looked at it like somebody going into porn would look at it. Somebody going into porn, I'm not saying for these kids to get naked and, you know, have sex with each other. That's not where I'm going. Where I am going is, you know, if you would take that mentality that the porn stars have, I don't give a fuck, I'm still going to do what I do, and I'm going to be a star, and if you like me on there, oh, well, that's awesome that you like. If these kids would take that mentality and be like, okay, not a problem. Yeah, I'm on the internet. I'm glad you like my video.
Well, you don't like my video then? Oh, well, so what? The hell with you then. Then fuck you, you know? I don't need for you to see it then. That's how they have to be. They have to say, well, you know, fuck it. Who cares if that person didn't like my video?
But these parents don't know because they just don't understand. I mean, even, you know, there's many adults that go on the internet. But out of all the adults that go on the internet, the majority of adults, you know, I mean, other than the ones that go on Facebook, are on there playing games.
Exactly.
Or on there looking at their fantasy sports. They don't know shit about forums and chats. They really don't give a shit. They're just glad that they have a different outlet other than a book. It's the internet to them is a new age fucking book, or the new age fucking movie, or the new age fucking CD.
Exactly. I mean,
or tape, or record, or whatever.
Exactly. And I think these parents need to monitor their kids more on the internet to know what their kids are doing. Your kids should not be on the internet all day and all night long. I'm sorry. Our son goes on for an hour a day if he goes on the computer. And if he decides he'd rather play Xbox, and he gets an Xbox for an hour, and only Xbox, because I monitor what my child does, and I know what he does and who he's talking to and what he's doing, because I'm not going to have my son doing something he's not supposed to or talking to somebody he's not supposed to.
Exactly, but...
And same thing with my husband, too.
You know, it's... The whole thing of, I just don't feel like, you know, a young kid, like 8, 9 years old, deserves a Facebook account. I don't.
No.
They don't, in my opinion. Nobody needs to know who they are. They're kids. You're just giving them you're giving these sick motherfuckers the opportunity now to go get your kid.
Exactly. That's why, you know what, I have a neighbor where I used to live, And not her, his older sister wanted to give him a Facebook account. And my neighbor actually flipped out, and she was like, "No, you don't do that. He's too young and this and that." And he was like 8, 9 years old at the time. Even now, he's like, I think 11. I think 11 going to be 12, as a matter of fact. And he still doesn't have a Facebook account because you know what? His mother doesn't feel it's right for him to have one. And I understand why. The grandmother either. She didn't feel that it was right for him to have one. I actually agree with her. He doesn't need to have one. Up until now, where he's getting a little older, that's different if they decide they want to let him have one, but I understand why they didn't let him back then.
But the whole thing is this, okay? Facebook, okay, was created, just like other sites out there, like Yearbook, like MySpace, whatever. A lot of these social media sites were created so people can, get in touch with people that they haven't seen in years.
Yeah, like an old friend from school or an old neighbor or a family member. I mean, I keep in contact with a lot of my family members through Facebook. And that's it. My family and a few close friends, that's it.
But the whole thing about it is, okay, if a kid's 11... who does he need to get in contact with? Somebody that he, was friends with when he was 10? Come on now.
Exactly.
It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
That's why this little boy does not have a Facebook account, because they feel that he has nobody he needs to go get in contact with. He goes out and plays football and does sports and does things he's supposed to, and baseball and all that other stuff that boys are supposed to do, and goes out and plays.
The point I'm trying to make.
But the point I'm making is that when these kids get into this Facebook or this gaming sites or whatever it is, they don't go outside. They don't interact with each other. It's not good.
And I'm not saying that it is. I didn't like the fact that I was trying to make a point and you're trying to cut me off with your point, but...
Well, I was originally talking, but go ahead.
All right. But with me and ADHD, I forget a lot, too, so...
I do, too, so...
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, babe.
Just like a woman, it has to have the last fucking word in edgewise.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, so... Anyway, my point is... They're not... people aren't educated in the right way. And I'm not saying people aren't educated. They're highly intelligent people. Okay.
They're not educated on how to use the internet, am I right?
They're not educated to where to go on the internet. What is going on the internet. They don't get the big picture of, how this affects the kid. The only reason it affects the child is because the parent's not saying, well, hey, that's no big deal. You got made fun of. That's why when I was talking about, cyber bullying, it's really a bunch of bull. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, okay, all you have to do is shut it off. Now, of course, if all the kids are putting it in your face 24/7, you really can't shut it off. However, compared to back in the day where, if you were really bullied, you would get beat up. And not today's beat up. Today's beat up is fucking a couple kicks, a couple punches, that's it. The old-fashioned beat up was black and blue eyes, busted nose, broken bones, going to the hospital, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Also the crazy thing about it is... On one end, it's good because the people that, originally would be bullied can turn around and, make up their own thing to get the bully. That's what people don't talk about either. Okay, the bully's bothering you that much, find out something that's fucking with them and exploit that if they're going to exploit you. Fire with fire.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And it's more of an even playing field in that regards. However, in another regard, if you're telling your deep, dark secrets to your friends in school that you think aren't going to fuck you over, as parents, we need to tell them, hey, these people are going to fuck you over. So don't be telling them every little detail of your life, because if you do, they're going to exploit it. Just like everything that we've said on the radio show, at any time, somebody could turn around and say, well, hey, you said this, and say, yes, I did.
That's right, but we stand by what we say. So if somebody wanted to explain, we could say, yeah, well, we said that. And we stand by what we said.
And here is the reason why we said that.
Exactly.
So I just want to clarify that. But the whole thing about it is it's lies. Somewhere somebody, is marketing the whole, okay, go to the website, it doesn't matter. They're like, okay, go to the forums and complain and change will happen. It won't happen. They're like, go to, this site and, get their address and write them a letter. That's not going to change anything. They really don't care. They know that you're going to do what you're going to do. They know that these people are going to react this way, and it makes no difference to them, because at the end of the day, they can turn it off. At the end of the day, they could mark. You don't think that they're marking things as spam? You could easily get hate mail and mark it as spam.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you're not going to see it no more. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. And then every time that person writes you, it's going to go in your spam file. And you're going to just empty your spam file. You don't even read half the shit that goes in there. You don't read anything that goes in your spam file because it's just spam.
But it's like, when is enough and when did the lies stop? When, do the lies stop? If it's going to be in our everyday life, and we're going to constantly be lied to, and that's okay. It's okay if you start a bank account and it ends up not what you asked for. That's okay. It's okay if you buy a product and it's not what you wanted. That's okay. And them giving you another product that they sent you the wrong fucking size on, and you paying the shipping to go back to them, that's okay. It's not okay. When is the fucking enough is enough? And people, we say, you know what? We're tired of this.
This bullshit's got to end right here and right now,
and
that's it.
We're tired of the lies. We're tired of being lied to. If you tell us something, you better back what you're telling us, because otherwise you're just full of shit.
Exactly. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, and even as a teenager, if I went to the store and I bought something and I said, okay, I bought this item, but it's not what I expected it to be. Okay, then I would get a different item. They would back up their product. Nowadays, these stores don't back up their products, a lot of them. Not all of them, but there's a lot that don't.
Yeah, and if you pay for it online and it's their fault, you have to return it on your money.
On it. Yeah.
What the fuck's up with that shit?
Exactly. Why should I have to pay taxes on something you made a mistake on? Not me. I didn't go to the store and buy it. I bought it online. You messed up. You sent me the wrong product, or you sent me the wrong size, or whatever the case was. You know what? Then you should have to pay for the taxes, not me.
It's like people just don't want to take accountability anymore. They just don't want to take accountability. Well, it's like an example. You have a fucked up burger, and you go to the cashier. The cashier dropped it on the way to giving it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see them drop it, but they dropped it.
Right.
What's the first thing they're gonna do? They're gonna be like, "I'm sorry, but the cook must have made it wrong."
Yep, exactly.
Not the fact that I just dropped the burger.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you catch them, and then they're like, "Okay, I'm sorry that I dropped it." But if you don't catch them, they don't say shit.
They'll try to give it to you. No, back in the day when I worked in fast food and stuff, if we dropped the burger, even if the person didn't catch us, we still would throw that burger away and make them a new one. We would never hand a product out that was on the floor. Ever. These restaurants get away with such bullshit. It's not even funny, some of these restaurants.
And what's up with the whole verification process for everything? You know, I don't care if it's a bank account. I don't care if it's fucking a credit card. I don't care if it's a loan. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care. It doesn't matter what you fucking do. It's like everybody wants to critique you and say, okay, well, because you had one flaw 5 fucking million years ago, we're going to hold it against you.
Of course, they always do. I don't know why, but they do.
You know, because you weren't a perfect role model citizen. I'm sorry I wasn't a perfect role model citizen, motherfucker. I like to help friends. And sometimes friends can't pay you back. And sometimes you end up with bills, and then you got other bills that you have to pay. And that's how you get fucking behind on things.
And I think everybody's gotten behind at least once in their life, you know? I mean, you know, that's just how it is.
In this day and age, people are overdrafting just to get by to the next week.
Exactly. Not even to buy anything expensive. It's not like they're going out to buy equipment or, you know, some special big product like a big screen TV or whatever. It's just to get by to feed their kids, to have clothes for their kids, maybe books or whatever the kid needs for school or whatever, you know?
And it's not necessarily just kids. I mean...
No, even just to get by yourself.
It's like some people have to, you know, work, you know, each work a job and then, you know, live with a relative of theirs who also works a job just to be able to afford fucking rent because enough is never enough and we just allow them to, you know, tax more. We allow them to, you know, add this. We allow them to add that. And then if we have a problem with it, we go on the internet yelling at a forum.
A forum isn't going to do anything because nobody's there listening. And nobody gives a crap what you're writing on a forum. A forum is just a forum. It's like a piece of paper to them, basically.
Exactly. It's like the automated machine now. Remember back in the day, if you had a problem, you can call corporate.
Yep.
Try finding a corporate number now.
You can't.
I mean, you're either dealing with automated machines because people don't want to deal with doing their jobs. Or, you know, you're speaking with the supervisor who is a low-end supervisor, can't do shit anyway. When you ask to speak to above that supervisor, okay, you got a little more of a, you know, a supervisor who's going to be a dick just like the other supervisor was because he don't care. Because he's not making enough. He's doing more work than he has to and not getting paid enough. That's what it's about.
Hey, you know what? That's not our fault. We're the customer. The customers are always right, and I'm sorry, that's the way it goes. You know, because you've done jobs where you've had to deal with the public.
The customer is not always right. The customer is right the majority of times.
That's what I mean, but you know what I'm saying? But, you know, these people need to do their job, and they need to do something sometimes to make some of these customers happy. Because, you know what? Just because you're not getting paid enough, that's not our fault. I didn't decide how much you make an hour, or the person over here didn't decide what you make an hour. That's between you and your company.
But it's just these lies. They're adding up. People aren't realizing. Okay, because I'm allowing them to do this, and I'm allowing them to do that, and I'm not educated to do this, so I can't help that my child's getting picked on this way. And I don't know what I'm going to do over here. And I can't feel how I'm going to do here. And you know what? Fuck it. It ain't my responsibility. So let somebody else handle it. And then the next person says fuck it. And the next person says fuck it. Guess what? We got a bunch of fuck it's and no fucking ways to solve a fucking problem.
Exactly.
That is the problem.
It is. That is the problem. You're right.
It's like we're just, you know, and I even, you know, blame myself because there's some things about the internet and this new generation I don't get. But there's nobody out there that wants to teach me. There's nobody out there that says, hey, this is what you're, you know, supposed to do. And if your kid ends up in this situation, here's what to do. There's just nobody cares.
Nope.
Or they're so strapped in work that they don't have time. That's the whole thing. In this day and age, it's about, okay, we leave people with no time to be parents, to bring guidance to their children, so the children end up like dumbasses when they think all the time they're doing the right thing.
Exactly. I mean, it's true. I mean, that's why these kids get into drugs. That's why these kids get into gangs and all kinds of other things. Because they're not getting the guidance that they need at home. If a parents were did more guidance for their children and paid attention to what their kids were doing and had a conversation with their child throughout the day when they get out of school or whatever. Hey, so-and-so, how was your day? Hey, what did you do in school? How were your grades? You know, what was your grade on this test? It would have more effect on these kids. Hey, Ma, hey, Dad, I'm going through this situation. Okay, well, this is how you handle it. Parents don't do that. They're too busy caught up working or going out, hanging out with the friends or on the social media network or wherever,
But on the same token, I'm not necessarily going to blame all the... I'm going to say
No, I'm not blaming the
they're
parents.
uneducated or they're so strapped in time. Picture it like this, okay? If you got two parents who both work splits, or
Right.
one works all day and then the other one works all night. During the day, they need to sleep at some time, they need to eat at some time,
Exactly.
and they just don't have time. It's like their jobs are just pressuring them to force them to not give a shit, even though they want to give a shit. Their jobs are forcing them not to. And if they leave, there's nothing there.
Exactly. I agree with what you're saying.
There's nothing there. That's the fucking problem.
But that's where all this bullying comes from. That's where all these kids are getting screwed up into drugs and screwed up into the gangs and screwed up in... Because you know what? They're not getting the guidance at home. So they're getting guidance from other kids. Kids their own age. Kids a little bit older than them.
But by destroying the mom and pops places to give better prices, to bring things into corporations and monopolies, because that's basically what it turns into.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What you're doing is you're taking people's freedoms away, whether they know it or not. Okay? You're destroying a culture that they should have, the right that they should have to, have things.
Exactly. I mean, because when I was a kid, we were in the house at 5:30 at night eating dinner. We were at that table by 5:30. We were sitting there eating as a family. And our parents always asked us, hey, how was your day? Hey, how'd you do on your spelling test? Hey, how'd you do on your math test? How'd you do on this test? How'd you do on that test? That's just how it was. And with all these big corporations taking over, nobody's got time because everybody's got to work to make up that money that they're losing when they have to go to these big stores and pay these big high prices,
Exactly. Plus, their jobs have to have a strict deadline to compete with the other people out there.
Very true. Very, very true.
So it's not necessarily the parents' fault. But if
I'm not saying it is.
The parents, and you can't depend on the babysitter, because the babysitter's job is basically, hey, make sure my kid does his homework and eats.
Yeah, and he
goes to
safe.
bed. Who is going to teach these children? When is enough? And I'm going to stress it, time and time again till people start waking up. And it's like, okay, there has to be some sort of change. And I'm not talking about on the government level. That plan is, its own plan.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it begins in the backyard. It begins in the neighborhood. It begins when a group of people say, hey, we've had enough. In our area, that's not tolerated. Exactly. In Jacksonville, you making fun of our team is not tolerated.
You picking on our kids is not tolerated. if parents see somebody or an older child sees somebody picking on a kid, they should stand up for him, even a kid their own age. Hey, you know what? That kid's new. Leave him alone or leave her alone. Hey, that's not accepted around here. Just because you lived here all your life doesn't mean you can go pick on that person. That stuff needs to stop. These parents need to stand together, and they need to start sticking up for some of these kids being picked on. And some of the bullshit that goes on shouldn't be allowed.
And it's not about fighting.
No, it's not.
Against, the powers to be or whatnot. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's little steps that will create change.
Exactly.
Not forums. Not fucking letters. Not, you have to literally go out there and say, hey, I'm not going to tolerate it.
Exactly.
I don't care what you try. I'm not tolerating it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tolerate you talking to my kid like that.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tolerate you paying me like that. I'm not going to tolerate you stressing me like that because it's not right. It's not fair.
And it's not acceptable anymore.
And if little towns would start doing that.
If little communities would, you know what? If a parent sees somebody picking on another kid, and they don't, even if the kid's new to the town or to the area, you know what? Knock on the door of the kid. If you know the kid who's bullying that child, go to that parent and knock on that door and say, hey, you know what? Your son Johnny was picking on this new kid. I don't know who he is, but he's new. And your son does not belong picking on him. Show that we're not going to take that bullshit, because you know what? If we stop taking that bullshit and these parents start to see that, maybe this bullshit will stop with this bullying, with this bullshit that's going on that shouldn't be going on.
I'm not talking about just...
I'm not talking about just that, but I'm talking about things in general. If everybody went to the person that's doing the bullshit and say, hey, you know what? That's it. We're not taking this. We're not. You need to do something about it.
Another thing, it's... the generation gap has got to stop. And what I mean by the generation gap, I mean the whole, okay, well, you're different from me because you're 20 years younger. No, it's the same. It's just adapted to a different, just going with a different drum. It's like when you were young, you remember your parents would always say, okay, whatever music you listen to, unless you were listening to like really mellow shit, was the devil's music. I don't care if it was rap. I don't care if it was metal. I don't care if it was country. It was the devil's music. But their parents would say the same thing. Instead of finding ways to encourage the younger generation, and I'm not just talking about, parents with kids. I'm talking about people in general. If they could, say, hey, okay, I don't understand this. Can you teach me so I can teach this person? Rather than saying, okay, well, it's my way or the highway. No, it's my way or the highway. No, it's my way. Didn't you hear me, motherfucker? I said it's my way or the highway. Who the fuck are you? You old bastard? Instead of the fighting and the bickering, because the longer we fight and we bicker over stupid, idiotic, childish shit, we are no better than children.
Exactly. And not only that, but why do you think all this shit goes on in this country? Because we're so busy bickering and fighting over stupid shit. Well, that's my territory. No, that's my territory. No, that's this. That's mine. No. You know what? If we stood together and we band together more, you know what? Maybe the shit wouldn't go down as bad as it is in this country too either.
I'm not even going to...
No, but we'd be more aware of what's going on, because we wouldn't be so... I don't know, so caught up in the other bullshit.
But there's so many people talking about the whole big picture. I'm not going that route.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying in general.
There's enough people doing that. I want to raise people's awareness, and what we do is we talk about the little people. The little people are everyday fucking people with everyday jobs that aren't winning the fucking lotto anytime soon, and we're not going to get a break anytime soon because they won't allow us to. And when I mean they, I mean the bosses, the people that run shit literally. I mean, not literally, locally. People that run shit locally will not allow us to be who we need to be because they continuously will follow the cycle. They will hire who they feel is the best ass kisser to follow the rules 100% and do it over and over again like a fucking circle.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And at some point, just like a bike chain, at some point, we have to break that link. We have to say enough is enough. We're not going to tolerate this anymore. And we're not going to tolerate being treated like garbage. Because we have a right. And we're not like, sometimes I feel like we're in prison without the fucking bars. I feel that like, okay, we have the fucking numbers rather than the inmates.
Exactly.
Just a fucking another number.
And that's it. That's all. Sometimes that's all it seems like it is.
I'm just number 138 and you're just number 139 and we don't matter to 205.
Exactly.
Because 205 is a higher number than us and doesn't give a shit about us.
Exactly.
There has to be a point where enough is, because if it's not, it's just eventually going to be all chaos. It's going to be chaos and everybody's going to be medicated and nobody's going to understand what the fuck is going on.
Exactly, that's right.
Because in today's day and age, back when I grew up, you dealt with the pain. You dealt with what was going on, you dealt with it. If you got cut, and you're with your friends, you ain't fucking with no Band-Aid. You don't give a shit. If you got scrapes, you got bruises, you didn't give a shit. You could have a fucking broken leg, but if that meant you were embarrassed in front of your friends, you were laughing your ass off as much as the pain hurt.
Exactly. You're laughing away that pain. Exactly.
Exactly. In the military, okay, from what I know, a lot of times they're not near medical stations, so they're given water.
Right.
That's all they have.
All right.
Now, if they can go overseas and fight, against, real threats.
Right.
Why do we need this medication every time something goes wrong? It's automatically, programmed in our brain.
Oh, well, you got a boo-boo. Here's some medication.
Here you go. Here.
You got another boo-boo. Here's some more medication.
We're going to give you the instant satisfaction. The problem with the instant satisfaction is you don't learn a fucking thing.
Exactly.
You don't. If you play with fire, okay, and you get burned, it stings. But if you get medication to take out the burn, well, then what's to say that you ain't going to fucking play on the fucking same stove again?
Exactly. I mean, you know what? I got burned the other day on my finger cooking. You know what? I didn't go, I got to put medication on it. It's there, and it hurt. That's it. I learned to be more careful when I cook now. So, In my opinion, pain is real. Pain is something you can feel, and it lets you know you're fucking alive. Lets you know you're a human being.
And when you try to mask that, and you cover it, and you try to, incorporate it to different things, to cover it up. Let's just cover this up. And if something else goes wrong, let's just cover this up. Eventually, you're not going to have anything to cover up when shit hits the fan.
Exactly.
What do you do then? Do you just keep on playing Let's Cover It Up? Well, when there's nowhere to hide, where are you going to run?
That's true.
When you're face to face with your demons, what are you going to do? And this isn't even a spiritual thing. As people in general, because I really don't give a fuck what the government does, and I'm going to explain why. While it does affect us, while it does suck some of the laws that they, portray for us, we can do nothing to stop that. The reason we can do nothing to stop that is because we can't even clean up our backyard. If we can't clean up our own backyard, if we can't clean up our neighbor's backyard, then how the fuck are we going to go somewhere big and clean up their mess?
Exactly. And why are we going to clean up their mess? Why shouldn't they clean up their own mess? You know what? We need to take care of our backyard and our neighbor's backyard and stop worrying about other places in their backyards. Worry about your own damn backyard before you worry about everybody else's. That's the way I look at it.
It's like a farmer, okay? You have a farmer. You have some, big developer that comes in this little town and says, okay, well, we're going to make this into a highway.
Mm-hmm.
You just cut by making, if the farmer allows it, though the guy may find a way anyway, by any means necessary, to get him out of there. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. Okay? If the farmer does not stand up and say, no, fuck no, you ain't taking my land.
Get the fuck off my property.
Then the resources for them people around that area that depend on that farm in order to eat, in order to have the fresh fruit, in order to live,
in order to have that bacon or that ham or that fresh milk or those eggs,
are taken away. It's about time that we stop allowing people to take our resources away. To take, what we love away so they can build what they feel is in our best interest.
It's not in our best interest because you know what? I noticed as a kid growing up, there was lots of farms. There was always farms. Now, there's not as many. You know what? What are we supposed to do? I mean, what are these going to do? Start using these chemicals to grow these plants and these, I don't know where the hell they're going to grow them. And these mass production, plants growing these vegetables and these fruits that are fake. They're not even real. You know what I mean? With all these chemicals in them, what are they going to do?
Exactly. My point is of the night, okay, is that we need to focus on our resources and our backyard and learn how to clean up that before we can handle any other task. We need to start paying more attention to our kids and find out what our kids are doing and where they're going and do some research because we do have Google and we do have the internet to say, hey, well, they're over here. We need to teach our children going to a forum will not solve the problem. What will solve the problem is when you don't tolerate it and you stand up for what you believe.
Exactly.
We need to, stop with the generation gap and just as people learn how to get along with each other. I hate to tell other people how to live their life. I hate to do it. I hate being told it myself. But if somebody doesn't reach out to people and provide an outlet for fucking people to actually give a fuck, then you're just going to have a bunch of brainless fucking idiots roaming around. And you know what happens then? You ain't going to have shit in your yard. The whole neighborhood's going to be destroyed. Why? Because ain't nobody thinking about fucking consequences.
Exactly. You're going to have a bunch of mindless zombies basically walking around. That's
Hey,
just basically what it's going to be.
We created this.
Yep.
We can stop it if people give a shit and care enough too. Now, if nothing is done after this, well, hey, at least we tried to, set some kind of message and, some kind of thing. If nothing else, at least we can relate to fucking people and they understand where we're coming from and vice versa. So with that, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
God bless.
Peace. Tomorrow we will be on at 11 o'clock because we just can't do call-ins no more until we figure out a new way to fucking work things because different wires don't work. Different equipment doesn't work. I mean, everything that we've tried has just failed. Miserably. And don't believe them YouTube videos you're seeing on these call-in radio shows because it just doesn't work. Not with this system for some odd reason. Don't know why, but it doesn't work.
I have no idea.
All right. Anyway, we're out of here. See you tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Bye.